Hey everybody, it's John the Pool Expert. Today we are going to show you how to clean a swimming pool so that it's ready for plaster. What the idea is to get all the chunks and stuff off of the gunite in order that the plaster will adhere to it properly and that we have good adhesion, because most of the time what happens is when you have a problem with your plaster, a lot of times it's because it wasn't cleaned properly and the plaster did not adhere to the gunite, and that's what we need to do. So everything needs to be scraped down and washed off, pumped out. We use a vacuum, we use a submersible pump, we use a scraper, and we also use a couple buckets. It's okay to use a pressure washer if you need to. But the goal is to get this thing ready for plaster. So the concrete has been finished. The pool equipment has been installed. The very next thing to happen is for the plaster to be installed. But in order for that to happen, everything has to be scraped down and pumped out and cleaned so that plaster adheres perfectly to your gunite that's exposed. At this point, all your pipes should be cut off about like this, unless you are going to install your fittings for plaster, in which you're going to have to set the fitting so it is even with the tiles. So when the plaster comes up, it's even, so this is exposed and not pushed in too much or not sticking out too much. But for the most part, all you have to do is cut the pipes, and the plaster guys normally handle that. You can see how nasty this pool is. We're getting it all cleaned out, scraped down, and we'll show you how everything works. As you can see, there's some chunks on the side, so we're going to use scrapers to get this whole thing smooth. So the whole thing needs to be scraped so there's no chunks of anything, because you have leftovers from where the tile guys left chunks of grout and thin set, and the concrete got over here as well. So everything needs to be completely scraped so that we're back down to the gunite. Okay, you want to make sure that there's no exposed rebar inside of the pool. If there is, it needs to be painted with some Rust-Oleum. It needs to be either cut out or knocked back behind. You want at least a couple inches of concrete on top of it. So you want to build it up with some waterproof concrete on top of that. So make sure anything metal, any nails need to be pulled out, any wires needs to be chipped back and mudded over so you don't have any rusting in the bottom of your pool, because that just looks bad when it turns brown. Okay, once you get all the major stuff off, then we're going to hose the whole thing down. Get all the dirt off the sides and off the bottom. This is where you're going to see all the stuff you missed. You can see little chunks of concrete here and there left from the tile. And you're just going to want to take a little hammer and just knock those loose. So you don't have any chance of something coming loose underneath your plaster. You're going to want to make sure your autofill and your skimmer is all cleaned out, ready for plaster, so no dirt gets in when you plaster it. And the pool is now clean. A quick walk through. Everything's scraped down, chipped off, vacuumed out. We're 100% ready for plaster. And that's all there is to it. It's just very important that you get any sediment off the ground, especially in the bowl. The main goal is to have good adhesion when your plaster is on there. So, thanks for watching. Please subscribe.